Hello everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'm Michelle with Stampin' Butterfly. Hope you're having a great night. Today is Thursday and I have gone back to my Make It Monthly videos. So every Thursday you can join me on the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Central, and we'll be making some cards and sharing some fun Stampin' techniques. So let me just make sure I am in the right place. I have been trying to figure out the comment place, so drop me a comment if you're out there. Just wanted to make sure. So again, I think Facebook changed stuff some more, so I'm not seeing everything I need to, but that's fine. If you drop me a comment and I miss it, I will reply to you after the video. So thanks for your patience. All right, so let's take a look at what we'll be doing. So tonight we'll be using Sale-a-bration products. So Sale-a-bration runs until the end of August, and if the products sell out, then there won't be any more. Well, not really sell because they're free. Oh, there you are. I do find comments. Aha. Hi, Heather and Hannah. Oh, they're not in a place where I thought they'd be, but hey, they're there. Okay, so I will try to keep up with comments. Thanks for saying hello. So anyway, Sale-a-bration is when you earn free products. So tonight, we will be looking at some of the free products you can earn when you spend $50 and $100 at my Stampin' Up! Store. So tonight we'll be using some of the Rings of Love DSP. And unfortunately, the Pool Party Seafoam card bases have sold out. So if you missed out on those, sorry guys. But if you have other faves, make sure you shop early before they're gone. And then at the end of August, they are gone no matter what. Also, we'll be using some of the silver and gold 6x6 paper. And these I just got, so I haven't designed anything with the little tree lot dies. But we'll be doing some fun stamping techniques with the Wonderful World stamp set and coordinating paper. I think this is my favorite Sale-a-bration item. So those are the items we'll be using tonight. Some of the cards I actually don't have a sample to show you. So the first card we're going to do, I actually have a card sample. The other ones we're going to kind of create together. So this is the first card we are going to create, and this uses the Rings of Love DSP, and I'll give you a quick look at that in a minute. But it has a lot of different seasons, so we're going to use the poinsettia paper and combine it with one of the stamp set and dies from Lights Aglow from the mini Christmas catalog. And then I've paired it with, let's see if you can see the embossing folder, the quatrefoil. Sometimes it's hard to see the embossing folders in the video light, but hopefully you can see that. All right, let's take a quick look at the paper because it is prettier than it looks in the catalog, I can tell you that. All right, so it is a pack of 12 by 12. Of course, these I've been using, so they're not a full size. And it has Crushed Curry, Evening Evergreen, Mint Macaron, Night of Navy, Parakeet Party, Petal Pink, Poppy Parade, and Soft Suede. And actually the paper I am using and the ink on this card is actually Sweet Sorbet. And because of the different shades in the Poppy Parade, they're similar, and I just thought it picked it up pretty. So that's the card base that we'll be using. And let's take a look. Well, that's a scrap, so let's move that. So you've got the cute little birds, and these will be great for Christmas and fall cards also. So we've got some of that paper, some pretty flowers. They're kind of springy, and some plaid patterns. Here's the paper we'll be using tonight. And then there's some cute little trees. I have a sample to show you as well using this and one of our retired embossing folders. That pair is so cute. And then here's some houses. I need some like welcome to the neighborhood and congrats on your new home. So that's what I'll be using a lot of that paper for. So stay tuned for some samples. And then this one, I just love this kind of mosaic look. So that one's kind of fun. Now you may have seen this one on Pinterest, so I think a lot of people have been using that with the gnomes. So this one's a cute fall paper as well as the trees, and this is great for masculine cards too. Not too flowery. And then here's another great fall one. I've seen some cute stuff with the squirrel stamp set. So if you have that one, then you are good to go because that'll pair really cute. And then just some kind of patterny leaf paper. So that is the free paper you can earn with a $50 purchase during Sale-a-bration. And that is the Rings of Love designer paper. So let's take a look at our card and what we are going to make. So I've pre-cut a few things. One of the cards will cut the base together so you can kind of see how to do that. But for this one, I went ahead and did some of it already. Well, got a lot of supplies. All right, so this is the embossing folder we'll be using, the quatrefoil, and it is really pretty. I wasn't sure at first if I was going to like it, but loved it once I played with it. And I've already cut a piece of the designer paper, and we're going to do one more cut on that. We're going to cut a label. We're going to use some gems from the 2021-2023 in color opal rounds, and those are pretty as well, but we're going to scooch those aside. Here are our pieces and parts. And here's a look at the stamp set. So I'm using the Merry Christmas. You can see that one here. It's an orange cling, and it's from Brightest Glow. This is a suite in the mini catalog that is like a double suite. So it has like a sentiment stamp set and also a Christmassy one that pair together in the really big suite. And the paper is gorgeous, but I just wanted to show you another way to pair additional paper that isn't in the suite together. And then we will be using the dies for this. And there are some fun labels in here. So we are going to use this one, but there's also some die cuts for dots and snow and swirl in this suite. Let me make sure. One of them has 2 pages. It's not this one. So let's move these aside. And let's see, we will start with cutting our paper. So we need to do one more cut on this designer paper. So let's double check what size this is. So this is 4 by 2.5. And we're just going to cut a 1/2 inch strip off of this. It's just a fun way to kind of break up your paper. So I'm lining up this side with 1/2 inch, or you could do the other side, but I'm just going to do this side. And then now we have our designer paper cut. And next we're going to go ahead and cut our label. So I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to get out the Big Shot. Now when I do my videos, I usually like to use the little guy, but since the embossing folder is a big one, we're going to have to go with the big guy. So bear with me. Let me know if you have questions along the way. All right, so let's see what sandwich we need for this. So we're going to die cut first. And so we're going to need plate 1. Now let's take a look at our embossing folder. So this one's I think this one's a regular one. I don't think it's a 3D. So we're going to look here and say with a standard embossing folder, use plate 1 and the 2 clear plates, number 3. So we will go with that guy. Actually, I was going to cut first, didn't I? Okay, well now we're embossing first. It's been a long week. Okay, so we're going to emboss our 5 1/4 by 4. We'll put that in our embossing folder and line it up. You should always put your folded side into the machine first and make sure you're lined up evenly so you don't chop off a corner. You don't want it cutting out past your edge because it'll get caught on your machine. All right, let's run this through. Get it started. And hopefully the camera doesn't shake too hard. And it's a bit loud, but that's normal. Okay. So, here you go. Let's see if you guys can see that. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can see it. All right. So let's set that piece aside. We're done with our embossing. Now we want to die cut our label. So that's a little bit different sandwich. And again, the plates are labeled. Now, if you have the old Sizzix machine, your sandwich might be slightly different, but it should tell you on your machine what to use. So we're using thin dies. So we're going to use plate 1, the little skinny plate number 2, just this guy, and then covered it up, but it's the same instruction on here, and then the 2 clear plates. So you want to put your paper down, and then your die on top of that. Oh, I might have moved my washi. All right, well, hopefully it stays put. If not, you could always use some painter's tape or washi tape to hold it in place. And then we're going to run it through our machine. All right. And here we go. Try not to lose all my pieces and parts. All right. We're going to need that for one of our other cards, so I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, so I think we have all of our parts for our card. Now I'm trying to find my grid paper. All right. just in case the glue goes haywire or anything. And then we've got our ink. So here's all of our pieces. Here's our sample card. So let's go ahead and do our stamping first. So if you have our new ink pads, they're kind of like a makeup compact. So the easiest way to open is to hold the sides. I put fingers here and a thumb here and just kind of pop it open. And then you flip it over, and this one's new, so it's still getting broken into. Okay. And they're also very juicy, so you want to gently tap. And you can flip it over. And if you look at an angle, you'll see your ink coverage. You want to make sure that's good. And again, we're using Sweet Sorbet ink, and then the cardstock as well. All right, there we go. Clean that off on my chamois so I don't get ink on everything. All right, that's all the inkiness we have for this card. So we'll close that up and move it. Now we just have assembly to do. So let's see what else we have. So we're going to go ahead and glue it. Now you can do the embossed or debossed, but I like it popping up. So go with that. When I have an embossed piece, I like to kind of put glue through the middle because it's so texturized. Kind of helps hold it down a little bit. And when you're doing tone on tone, some people like to pop it up with a dimensional, but I was just trying to keep mine not too plump of a card for mailing. So we're just going to glue it flat. And now we will put on our little piece of cardstock, or designer paper, I should say. And let's make sure I got that right. Where's the other piece? I flipped it around. Does that look like it matches? Okay, good. Otherwise, we'll defeat the purpose. Okay, and I have a little silicone mat, so if you're using liquid glue, it's better if you're gluing on this. So let's bring that out. And we're just going to leave a little gap between the two pieces, and you can, and I like liquid glue because you can readjust. So you can, you know, leave as big or as small of a gap as you like. All right, and then we're just going to use some dimensionals to put our sentiment on. So let's see, where did I put those guys? Here they are. So the labels are really pretty. All the sentiments in this Christmas stamp set, they all fit, I think, with the different labels that are in there. We're going to use another one from that same set on one of our cards tonight. All right, so we'll pull off the backings. And then we are just going to offset that wherever we want to put it. And these yellow gems just look really pretty. It's not something I would have thought of using on here, but they do just work really nice together. So we're going to grab our take your pick tool and just grab, maybe I want to use the sticky side. Sometimes I like the sticky side better. There we go. We're just going to drop those down. Oh, that one just stuck to my finger. How about that? Put that one there. And then one at the bottom. All right. There we go. We'll set that aside. So there we go. We have our first card put together. Now this card I did the long hot dog versus hamburger. I don't know. They have different names for these cuts. But so I did the card cut this way. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And then the original card design, I went ahead and cut it the other direction, which is the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So different ways you can open your card, but it gives you a little bit different look. So there's your first card using our new paper. Also wanted to show you the backside of that paper was that cute tree that we saw. So I went ahead and paired it, I think you can see pretty good, with our woodland embossing folder that just recently retired, but it looks almost like those trees. So I made the same card but changed it up just a little bit. So if you look, it's the same exact piece of designer paper, but I cut the other side and then I gave it a full border around the edge. So it's the same exact, you know, designer paper, but just changed it up a little bit. And then that gives you a nice masculine birthday card also. All right, so let's see, what do we want to do next? I think we'll do the wonderful world. So Nope, that's not the stamp set. That's something else we're going to use with it. So let's take a quick look at the paper that comes in that. And I'll pull that out for you in the stamp set. All right, so here's the stamp set. And it is one of our distinctive stamp sets, which I love. And it's orange cling, and it doesn't look like it's even really cut very good. Like if you looked at it, you might think, I think there's something wrong. But it actually just has really defined imagery. So when you stamp it, it just gives you a beautiful look. And there's different techniques you can use with that. So I'll show you that tonight. And I have a bunch of samples of that one as well. All right, so here, again, I've chopped up some of my paper, but you can get the idea. So here's some really pretty paper. And then, so one side has flowers, and then the back side is more of a pattern. And then sometimes you can cut them in half. Oh, look at all my scrappy scraps. Let's move those out of the way. So you can, you know, cut it in half and then flip it over. So that's kind of a fun way to do it too. So you got your leaves on that one. This one you can see I used my Brother Scan and Cut to cut out the images in the middle. You can also, which I found out is, if you trim off your first layer here, just really close to the stems, you can use your postage punch. So you could bring this guy in, and I'll show you, I think I have a sample, I'll show you later. But you can just do that. So you can slide your punch. So if you cut this out of the way, you can use your postage punch on that second layer and get some fun imagery out of that. So I'll show you that sample as well. And then there's some pretty flowers here and the purple. So the colors are really, just love this paper. I have to get more. All right. So the card we are aiming for, let me see. Well, I don't have the final product, so we're going to make that together. But what I do want to show you guys is kind of a way to get your shadowing on your flowers. Let's see if you can see that. So you can have two tones here. We're going to use a sponge dauber and some of our markers. But we're going to change it up a little bit. So let's cut our card base first. Let's see, we'll go with the 4 1/4 by 11. So we're just going to cut the paper in half with the short side across the top. And let's put the cutter at the top. We're just going to slide it down. So we have a card base for later. And this card base for now. And now we're just going to score it at the halfway mark on the 11 side, which is 5 1/2. So you'll use your light gray scoring tool. If you have just a big scoreboard, you can use that as well to score your card. I find when you cut the paper in this direction, it's easier to give you that score line because it doesn't fold great with the texture of the card fibers. And we're going to use our bone folder. Give it a good crease. All right, so I think I already pulled out the stamp. And I have some ink. Oh, I better bring out my paper here before I make a mess. We're going to make our own gems, so we're going to do a little coloring of those. And for the sentiment, we're going to use Happy Birthday from the Cottage Rose. This is one of my favorite stamp sets from the annual catalog. It has lots of different sentiments. You have Friends Forever, Feel Better Soon, Best Wishes, It's Going to Be Fab, Happy Birthday, You're Positively the Greatest. And it pairs great with the Wonderful Worlds because if you look, this is only imagery. It doesn't have any sentiments. So we're going to use the Happy Birthday from there. Let's see, we don't need that one or this one. And then we are going to die cut some things out also. So I probably shouldn't have filled up my workspace, but let's take everything out and then we'll work on it from there. All right, lots of goodies. So we're going to move our sponge daubers over there, some other markers over there. Okay, now I need to move everything out of the way now that I pulled it all out. So we're going to use this paper. I've already cut, I have a scrap left over from another card I made. And same thing with this one. This is just another piece. I don't think I even showed you guys that one, actually, now that I think about it. I think I used that whole page. So I need to get a full one out. Let's see, where is it? Here you go. So this has really large imagery. And if you've been on Pinterest, you may have seen people cutting out the big flowers and then using those on their card fronts. And I do have some samples to show you those as well. And then here's the leaves that we're going to use. All right, and this is from our new stylish labels, I think it might be called. So there's some fun banners in there. So I pre-cut that for us. And let's check our card base. I think this is a good width. Yep, so that, let's see, where is my measurements? So that's a little over 4, so I think we're good there. And then I think we're just going to trim off a piece here. So let's grab our paper trimmer again. So this is kind of how I create sometimes. I'll take a card, you know, scraps of paper and decide, oh, I think I want to use this or that. So let's see, let's make it 3 inches. So we'll take that strip off. Another goodie for later. So we'll put that aside. And let's see if we like the look of that. So we're going to put that together with this one. And we could have probably trimmed a little more off, but we'll just go ahead and overlap it however we want. We could even shorten this one if you wanted to cut it in half and make it skinnier. So different ways to go. All right, let's move that out of the way. Now we need something to stamp our flower on. And I kind of waffled because I don't like messy. I'm more of a like even, nothing crooked kind of when I design stuff. So I wasn't sure if I'd like the deckled edge. So I've been waiting to see samples and fell in love with it. So it's an uneven edge, but it's not too uneven. So we're going to go ahead and instead of using this one on this sample, I used the scallop and contour dies. There's a bunch of fun scalloped different shaped rectangles. But for this one tonight, we're going to go ahead and use the deckled edge. And we have to get our die cut machine out again. Make our same sandwich. So the die cut sandwich, same as what we just recently used. Let's flip it over. I like to flip my plates. They're all kind of scraggly looking because they start to bow a little bit if you run them through at the same, always like the same top and bottom. So I like to flip them over. All right. And then make sure they didn't move. We're just going to run it through. And I'm going to hit everything on the desk. Perfect. Move some stuff out of the way again. We're going to be using our machine quite a bit tonight. All right, so let's take a look at how this die looks. Let me pull up the dark cardstock so you can see it. So it's kind of a fun edge. I really like it. Gives it just a little bit of unevenness, like you tore the paper, but not too crazy. So perfect for me. All right, where's my grid paper? So this is the mini grid paper, by the way. This is the one that they sell for the Stampin' Up! Stamparatus. And I just like it sometimes if I want a small area to work in. All right, so we will stamp our sentiment first. So we'll go ahead and do that in Starry Sky, one of our new in colors. And we're just going to ink up the happy birthday. Stamp it down, back up. All right, so now we have our sentiment. Clean that guy off, put it in the basket, and set that aside. All right, we're going to keep that out, and I'm going to show you guys how to use the markers. So there is one way you can do your coloring on your orange. It works better on the orange rubber, definitely, than in the photopolymer. You can do it on photopolymer, but I don't think it gets as good a coverage. So you would use, there's a fat side and a skinny, similar to your blends markers, but these are different. You can't color on here with your blends. Those alcohol markers, no. It'll stain it, and it just won't work. So we're going to go ahead and give our first coat of, and I'm using just the side of the marker. So we're going to give a first coat right there of the flower. Then we'll go ahead and using Mossy Meadow. That was Rich Razzleberry, by the way. Next, we'll do the leaves. And this is also a fun way, if you have a big stamp with a lot of different pieces, you can use the markers to get better coverage in different colors all at once. So, got a little bit on the flower. That's going to probably bug me. Let's see if I can wipe it off with my fingernail. We'll see. Okay, next we're going to take our sponge dauber. So I have them by color. So this is kind of my bluish color. Test it. Ooh, that's got a lot of ink. And I'm just going to go around the edge of my flower. Like that. We'll take our paper. I like to breathe on it so it stays moist. And then we're just going to go ahead and stamp down. and up. So now you can see I have like a flower that's got the rich raspberry in the middle, but the bluish purple of Starry Sky on the edges. So it gives you a really fun two-tone flower. You could also try to stamp it just in one color and go back with a sponge dauber. Like I've been able to do that with maybe yellow in the middle. But with these darker colors, it doesn't really work that well. All right, let's clean that off and we can put our card together. Let's see. Move these guys out of the way. Get some glue in. Where's my glue? All right. So we'll go ahead. Oh, I'm glad you like the sponge dauber. Yeah, we forget to use them. Everybody's got the new blending brushes and they're like, ooh, ooh. And then the poor sponge daubers sit there all lonely. But they do have a lot of good uses. All right. So we're just going to wiggle that a little bit. Thank you, liquid glue. Looks about even. Card's not upside down, plus plus. And then we're going to attach this one and we'll decide how much we want to stick out. So I'm thinking maybe about here. That looks good. Now, if you had some ribbon and twine, you could tie that on as well. So let's compare our flowers too. So this one I added more blue when I did the first time, and it has the different shape versus this guy. Do a darker background. All right, so we are gonna decide. I think we'll put the sentiment at the top. Do we want it at the bottom? Ooh, that kind of looks cool. Maybe we'll go with that. I feel like it's a little naked up there. We'll add some gems or something. All right. Here we go, dimensionals. So we're gonna pop this up. Might need a little more glue in that corner. Sneaking up. All right, so I'm gonna put some in the corners, guy in the middle for good measure, and then peel the backings off. Toss them on the side. And then we'll put our card together. So let's see. Do we want to, I think we'll pop this up. Oh, that's a big empty hole. That drives me crazy. All right, let's do the mini dimensionals. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I feel like the height of the mini dimensionals is slightly smaller than the full-size dimensionals. So I don't like to combine them on the same piece of paper. Like I wouldn't put a big and a small on here, but it's a good way to layer dimensionals without getting too poofy. All right. Since we're doing the white on the white. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's cool. You could even add a twine bow later or something else. So what do we have left? Let's do some coloring of our gems. So I don't have gems that are shiny. The in color ones are matte dots, I think, for these. So you can use your rhinestones. And you can color them with your alcohol markers. So you can color them with the blends. It won't work with the Stampin' Right, but they'll work with the blends. So usually I recommend using, oh, that one looks like it's not closed. I usually recommend using the darker color. It seems to color it up better. So let's take a look and see. What size do we want? Ooh, yeah. And you just gently go around your gem. Let's do one in light and see what it looks like. And yes, yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell that or not. Let's see. I'll hold it up for you. It's a lighter color. I like the dark better, so let's go back. Cover it up again. And you can also do multiple layers. So if it comes out light, you can let it dry for a minute and then go over it another time. All right. Let's see. Put that guy here. And then always got to do groups of 3. Uneven is always good. So as long as it's an odd number. I like that. That looks pretty good. Alrighty. So what do you guys think? We created that one together. Now I have a few samples. Actually, I have quite a few samples from this suite. I was playing with it. One weekend I stamped all the flowers, and then the next weekend I was messing around with making cards out of stuff. So I have a huge pile to show you. So So let's take a quick look. All right, so for this card, I did that same technique, except I did the yellow in the middle, and then the sweet sorbet around the outside. And on here for the leaf, I used a little bit of the mossy meadow, but I did old olive as the first color, and then just did the other one on the edges of it. Got a sentiment on there. And then this is actually a Memories and More card base. So same thing with this one. It's from the Tea Boutique Memories and More card base. And then I paired this with the Hues of Happiness dies. I frayed out some of the fun metallic ribbon, I don't know if you can tell. And then this is from that Tulip stamp set. All right, I think they're upside down. Let me flip them around. Now this one is kind of fun. I don't know if I have my stamp set handy. So they come with some leaves. So there's this leaf and this one. I didn't know what to do with it. Didn't really find where I wanted to place it. So I went ahead and ran it around the outside of my card so it looks like a ribbon. So I didn't even use it as a leaf, but there you go. Now this one I cut up the flower on the big paper and I made a little barn door card, and then I embossed this panel in the back. And again, we're using all this pretty paper from this stamp set, this bundle. And then on this one, I've got it embossed with the gingham embossing folder. And again, just cut out the flower, some glitter paper. And then these are the dies, I think, from the sun prints. And then I added a circle because it layered up nice. Now this one again uses the paper. I did the bookbinding fold on this guy. And I did a double layer here, so there was an excess of this flower on the edge, so the flower was kind of chopped off, so I just took the middle piece, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I popped it up to give it a little bit of a 3D on that. Here we go. So this is similar to tonight's card with the similar coloring of the flower, but this one's more of a fun fold, and it shows off a little more of the paper, so that's a fun one to do. This one I went ahead and did the fern, and then I did the two-tone in here again, and then that's another one from the Hues of Happiness. I like those little edges. Now this one's actually the paper cut in half and flipped over, so that's one side and the other side, and so that's kind of fun the way it goes together. Oh, this one is the one I was telling you about. So this is where I took the postage stamp punch, and I just punched out the pieces of the paper, and then I just layered some patterned paper together. So makes a quick and easy card. All right, so this is one we made. I'm making piles everywhere at the end. I won't be able to find anything. So another celebration item that we'll be playing with is the silver and gold 6x6 paper. So the World of Wonderful that I just showed you, that you can earn with a $100 order, and you get stamps and the paper. This is a $50 order, and you just get the paper, and it's one-sided because it's specialty paper. So you get some gold lines, some gold dots, and then silver lines and the silver dots. So these, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to use them. I think they'd be great for anniversary cards, like 25th and 50th anniversary, and you can pair them with that, any of the anniversary stamps that you have. I think I'm going to pair it with something that just retired out of the last mini catalog, so we'll play around with that. Let's take a look at our next card. All right, so this one I am creating with you guys because I had an idea, but I haven't actually made it. So we'll see how it goes. I just pre-cut a few things. So this is another flower I've already done the stamping for, and I paired it. Ooh, that's bright, sorry. So I did this one with the sorbet and then a darker red in the middle. So it gives you two tones. And then I did more of an old olive on the leaves for that one. The sentiment we are using is the Happy Birthday from Pansy Patch. I was trying to fit something that would fit in this super cute little circle. And let me see if you guys can see it with this behind it. So it has the dots on it, and it's from that Lights Aglow bundle that we used on the first card. All right, so we're gonna do a sorbet base. Seems to be my color tonight. We're gonna stamp. We don't need these colors. Oh, where'd I put the other one? I need the sorbet back. So much for cleaning up as I go. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. All right. I decided we'd play with one of my new embossing folders. So I ordered the Elegant Eucalyptus. This is in the annual catalog. And they fit in the mini machine, so these are cool. It comes in a 2-pack. And you can run them through your little mini Stampin' Emboss machine. You can also run it through the big one, which is what we're going to use tonight. And every time I get my new stuff, I always kind of run it through. So there's the leaves. And then this is like the flower bundle. It's a little hard to see in the lighting. But we are going to use the flower bundle. And I'm making a big pile. We're going to actually emboss the foil. So these embossing folders are 3D, so you can see they're thicker than the one we did initially. So it's going to make yet another sandwich in our embossing machine. So let's grab that real quick. And pull out our sandwich maker. All right, so we are using the 3D embossing folder, so it's going to be plate 1 and 4, which is dark gray. So that's this guy. Now, if you have the old machine, you can buy this number 4 and be able to use it in your big shot, because these are slightly different than our old ones. And they may not fit through unless you did a shim with some extra cardstock. The other thing is, if you have that blue plate that was in that transition year, then you should be good to go, because that's the same as this one. All right, so I want to kind of line it up so it's centered-ish. Guess we'll see. Feel like it's slightly crooked still. Okay. And again, you run it through with the seam, the folded side first. And see how it looks. Now I bet you'll be able to see how the embossed image looks with the foil. It's super cool. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, I like that. What do you guys think? That's kind of fun. Okay, so we're just doing a little bit on this card because I already did the flower coloring since I already showed you that technique. We're just going to stamp a little sentiment and put our card together. So we'll ink up our happy birthday. Put it in the middle. There we go. And close that up. And then all we have to do is a little assembling. So this is a standard card base. It's the other side of the one we used earlier, the sorbet again. And we are just going to use a standard 5 1/4 by 4. This is the foil paper from the Sale-a-bration with the dots and the silver foil. And we're going to do a card to open that direction. All right. So let's see, I'll flip that over. Center it on our card base. I always have to pick it up to see if it's working. I think that's pretty well centered. Then, let's see, I went the full length. I might want to trim it. I wonder. I think I'll trim it a little bit. Let's grab a paper trimmer and do it. Let's see, I want it to go this way. So that is the 5 1/4 side. I think I'll trim it a little on that side. Are we at 5 1/4? Looks like it. Let's test it. I think we can take a teeny bit off the other side. I don't want to take too much off of one side and then it was lopsided. Now I probably took too much. Let's see what it looks like. Just leave it there. See how we look. Whew. All right. I think my little paper cutter might have put a little dent in there. Where's my bone folder? See if we can just gently push that out. Ah, perfect. That worked pretty good. Okay, so I didn't bring any snail over here. So sometimes I don't love using the liquid glue on foil. Let's see how it does. Because it leaves a little bit of marks when you touch the foil. And the snail sometimes, or the, I guess what's it called? Stampin' Seal. So this might actually need a little more. It's pretty thick. Let's see. Look, I've got silicone sheet and I'm gluing on my good paper. Let's see how it goes. All right. I'm going to center that on here. And I'm just going to flip it over. See how that looks. Ooh, cool. All right, hopefully it's straight-ish. All right, and then we're going to put this flower in the center. Dimensionals, where did we go? All right, the glue did pretty good. Sometimes, like I said, you could see a line, so you want to do really gentle line of liquid glue if you're using that, because if you push the point on the foil, it leaves lines in it. Alrighty, so now we're almost done. Well, let's move that a little more centered. Well, it's centered here, but not there. Depends on where you want to center to. All right, I'll have to pull out all the cards. You'll have to tell me which one tonight is your favorite of the 3 cards. But let's go ahead and drop our sentiment over here. Could have done a long skinny one, but I wanted to try that circle. So there you go. There's a fun birthday card. All right, what did we make tonight? I don't even remember. Let's move some stuff out of the way. And I might have buried the first card. There it is. There we go. There's the first card. Sorbet is the color. All right, you'll have to let me know which card is your favorite. Oh, I did want to show you. So this foil paper, you can color it with your blends. So I use the blending brush, not the blends markers, but your blending brush, and I just colored it some Parakeet Party and Tranquil Tide, Tahitian Tide. There you go. So, and then I just paired it with some fun dyes for a different look. So you can go more formal and elegant, or you can go fun and bright. So let me know what is your favorite one, guys and gals. All right, Heather says the blue one. So this guy, awesome. All right, so let me flip you back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you had fun, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll be posting along the way. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do. I post some videos there also, so I think I did some last weekend. You'll find some new stuff out there. And then join me on Facebook every 3rd Thursday, and we'll be making more cards. Have a great night, and thanks so much for joining me.